there anything that you can't stand more than when someone says to you, hey, I told you so? Well, guess what? Don't listen to the rest of this show. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way every weekday morning if you're into football and or baseball. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates, and I hope you'll check those out as well. Sidney Crosby participated yesterday, as he always does, in this thing called NHL Media Day. It's in Las Vegas, and only this league would have a media day with almost no media, meaning they don't let you know when or where it is, offer credential forms or anything like that. But I digress, because what happens out there, for the most part, is a lot of photo taking, video taking by rights holders, U.S. networks, Canadian networks, wire services, and there are a couple of, and I put this in quotation marks, reporters, since the reporters are paid by these networks, which are rights holders and thus beholden to the teams in the leagues. And anyway, Sid was out there, and Sid was interviewed, and Sid was, of course, asked if he's expecting to sign an extension with the Penguins before the coming season.
I'm pretty optimistic it's going to get done. I mean, I don't know what day specifically, but it's been really positive, and hasn't been a difficult process at all. So I'm pretty optimistic that something will get done.
Yep, boring, huh? But what have I been telling you all summer? He's not going anywhere. He never even seriously contemplated any such thing other than maybe in the deepest, darkest recesses of his mind when Jake Gensel was traded. What he wanted to do, only because he's exactly this smart, was to apply whatever pressure he could through this scenario to Kyle Dubas to make sure that when he does play for Pittsburgh for the remainder of his career, it won't be for some sort of cellar dweller. In stark contrast, it would be a team that could compete, maybe even contend. And that's it. Otherwise, zero drama. You heard it right from him. The same thing I've been hearing from all sides all summer. The end. He wants to get it done. He obviously, you can tell from his tone and some of his wording, wants to get it done before any sort of serious hockey takes place here in Pittsburgh. So you're talking about, a couple of weeks. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Now, to an issue that's more of an actual issue, because nobody has the answer to this: how long will Sid actually play? When you're as great as he is, and as he just was last season on the wrong side of his mid-30s, you could conceive of anything. But then you have to remember that this is someone who's used to being not just great, but the greatest in the world. And those types of players, for the most part, you don't see them just hanging on because they can hang on. There are exceptions, but there haven't been many. And I don't believe for a second that Sid will be one of them. He'll want to be a legitimately great player in the league as he was in 2023-24. This was what he had to say on that subject.
You don't really know the trajectory of everything and how you're going to feel mentally, physically, and all you can do is really just, each year evaluate it and kind of go from there. But I think that when you get to this point, you understand that's more of a reality with every year you play, and you understand that. But I think you just kind of check in with that, through the year or every year and evaluate it. So that's how I look at it. But I feel really good. I'm just as excited about going to training camp as I was my first year. So I think the passion and that sort of thing is all there. So as long as that's there, then you're willing to put in the work and do everything that it takes to be successful.
So cool, now you know why I haven't made much of a deal, or really any deal, about this. Sid and the Pittsburgh Penguins are a single thing, including in his mind. Sid and his 3 Stanley Cups and the Pittsburgh Penguins are a single thing in his mind. He has invested such a massive portion of not just his hockey career, but of his life into his legacy in Pittsburgh. And other people in other cities can scoff at that if they want, or you can point out a Raymond Bourque who sold his soul to go lift a cup in Denver. And I don't mean that to be rude, but well, yeah, it is rude, but it's also accurate. I really, really hated that. Sid is a Pittsburgher. Sid is a Penguin. And very, very, very soon, there will be pen put to paper to support that all over again. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q comes from Matthew, and it's in response to yesterday's episode, which was led by a discussion on what type of move Kyle Dubas might still want to make to fortify the roster. I'm of the opinion that he's not going to do that, but I wanted to go through this exercise to kind of, I don't know, maybe convince myself that he doesn't need to. To which Matthew asks, so DK, what you're saying is that we need Daniel Sprong. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Because I did say that you would basically house a scoring type winger on the 3rd or 4th lines and have him there in case you need to break the glass open. And that is the role that Sprong has filled in his somewhat NHL career to date. And I'll have a couple of responses to this. One is that, in case you don't know, Sprong has signed with the Canucks. He did that in July. When he did, he told reporters in Vancouver that he was happy to be back together with Jim Rutherford, Patrick Allvin, and others who, of course, were in Pittsburgh when he was drafted here. He feels like they trusted him, like they saw his potential. And yeah, so anyway, he's there. 2, no. That's when I said a Thomas Tatar type of player, and Tatar was the only guy that I brought up, although I think I threw in Danton Heinen near the end of the segment. I was referring to someone who could score a meaningful amount of goals, which Tatar almost always can, or someone like Heinen who has the ability to score, has a really dynamite finish for someone who doesn't score a ton, but also, and you'll recall this from when Heinen was here, can kill penalties, can be responsible, can do other stuff, can be a team guy. And none of those things fit Sprong. Not that he isn't a team guy. I don't mean to throw that in there. He's not someone who can remotely take care of any responsibility across 200 by 85, aside from shooting a hockey puck. He is phenomenal, I believe, at shooting a hockey puck. That hasn't changed. When you see some of the goals that he has scored while bouncing around the league to other teams, you can't believe that this isn't a star. And then you realize that he's currently in the process of, completing a circular tour of the league. And by the time he's done, he might have played for all 32. So no, it was more of a Heinen type. It was more of someone like that, someone who'd still be sitting around or someone who might be available from another team. And even then, I don't have strong feelings on it. So what I am saying here is that I feel like for myself, I've reinforced the notion that Dubas is set. He's ready to go into Cranberry. I appreciate the question. I always appreciate somebody making me laugh out loud. And we'll do another one of these shows tomorrow.